Listen up, please.
I'm glad you're here.
Mind orgasms and...
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Sheriff John Brown come for you? Tell me what you wanna do, what you gonna do? Yeah. Bad boys, what you gonna do?
There's no need for three of us. Wow. There's not even a need for me, apparently.
Jordan, if it helps, I think you have a great host voice.
I don't know,
Jordan,
man. I've heard a lot of
noticed your
terrible
voice
feedback. Terrible feedback. Maybe I'm just gonna start sucking helium before every episode.
Wait,
People
people
be
told
jelly,
you
man.
terrible feedback?
Yeah, no, I saw it once. So
From where?
just nowhere. Just I saw it in a place that I was once, like on the bathroom wall. Like picture it like on a bathroom wall.
What?
Yeah, picture it like it was on a bathroom wall. I saw it. You can't unsee
See, I
that
would be
shit.
proud because I usually write my own number there.
It would, but it just says Jordan has a terrible voice. What am I supposed to do with that?
I'm so confused.
Continue to talk.
Was it on the Facebook that they said that?
It may have been the Twitter actually.
Oh, okay.
Well, Twitter's a terrible place. The world would have been better if they'd never invented Twitter.
Wait, so somebody added the podcast and told Jordan he has a terrible voice?
It may have been a PM. I don't know.
A DM?
Yeah,
A
whatever.
PM?
Whatever. Shit happens.
So it's
whatever.
someone you followed back.
What kind of asshole does that? Just don't listen to the show, you fucktard.
Find his address. We will beat him senselessly.
All right.
I love that. Oh, George's got a terrible voice. Well, why are you listening to the show then? If it's that bad.
That's kind of why I said it was like the like seeing on a bathroom wall. I just the shit that you see on bathroom walls. Like I walked into a bathroom and I was standing at the urinal and I saw a swastika. How angry do you have to piss to like carve a swastika
What
into a
happened to
wall?
your penis? Were you circumcised and they broke it?
It's more horrifying if someone does that in a jolly mood and is just like,
Anger pain.
La-da-da-da-da. Sing
"Drawing
humming,
a swastika
Wagner.
because I hate the
Drawing-
Jews happily." Like, come on.
Oh no, it
That
burns
would be
so
horrifying.
good.
I'm all done peeing, but I haven't finished my swastika yet.
Yeah, I don't know what's scarier, the angry racist or the cheerful racist.
I'm actually curious. Do they like zip up their fly and tuck their dick back in, or they just continue to draw the swastika and then put everything away?
Maybe they were doing the number 2,
In the urinal?
Yeah, man, you've never done that?
No, I can't say that I have.
Pooped
Dude, it was
in
a yearly
urinal?
tradition in high school.
What?
Oh,
At least once.
what?
I can't imagine that would.
Did you go
for
to
those of you
Brockton
who
High
aren't
School?
aware,
This is the weirdest opening to a show ever.
for those of you who aren't aware, that voice.
Wait, we're recording?
Yes.
Oh, we're
no.
we're recording.
I
Very
sang
good,
like a
Jordan.
happy
Thanks for letting us
racist.
know that.
Oh no. I had a Jewish stepfather, if that helps. I hated him, so it doesn't. Oh.
I need to pour another shot of this Jackfire because
I'm
holy shit,
pouring
here
a
we go.
drink as I said that.
You know what you never see on the scroll, like carved into the bathroom walls, like poor people. You never see that, but Matt Matt has seen that, as he was telling us. He hates people who hate poor people.
Well, we were having a discussion about libertarians and how they're basically just Republicans with weed, and we were disagreeing with him. We were adamantly disagreeing, but Matt was also extremely drunk, and then he just proceeded to type the word murder 7 or 8 times.
Yeah, he really did. It was.
And so then I typed the word Mulder, and then he went off on a rant about Scully. So I managed to derail the whole conversation, but for a while there, he was on a rant.
I like to light the match and walk away because this all started because I posted a meme and then it went right off the rails.
So
Always. It's so easy to coax into those things. I love that.
It was basically a line that said, Republican, have you ever hated the poor? Libertarian, have you ever hated the poor on weed? It's a dumb meme, and it started a war between the podcasts, and I couldn't be happy.
No,
It
I
didn't
don't
even
think
war.
it did.
There was
We
no
just
war.
kind of let Matt roll with it because Matt's always good. Like when he's drunk, he's good for at least a 20-minute tangent.
I love that passionate son of a bitch.
So
He is. He's so passionate.
There's an extra voice on tonight because Matt's in Scotland with his wife on their honeymoon. So for those of you who don't know John,
Hi, I'm John.
He was the CEO, or is the
I
CEO.
am
CEO.
the
He
CEO,
is the
damn it.
CEO.
He's
Continue.
only a was because we're not on the network anymore.
Right.
He was
That's
our
right.
CEO.
He is the
This is
CEO
episode.
of-
This is episode 39.5, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So he is the CEO of the GERE Radio Network. He is the host of the JC Money Show, exclusive to iHeartRadio. One half of the hosts of Garrity America, and sadly in charge of Better Live Than Dead, which
Oh, come on.
is better off dead than live. I promise you that.
We got to make a good impression.
Oh, Jesus.
This is like when
Those
your
poor
dad
fuckers,
comes to
man.
check out
Well,
your new apartment.
hello, everybody in Misguided Musing land. I'm very happy to be on episode 39.25.
Yeah,
John, did you notice that we did the dishes and we vacuumed? Remember how you were telling us to do that when we were on the old network?
Yes, but you did not rub my feet. They're aching right now. I still need the foot rub.
Oh, and I forgot to hide the fleshlight too. Well, this is awkward.
Oh boy.
well,
All right.
just if you leave it out long enough, Jesse will use it, so it's all right.
maybe by episode 39.75.
Yeah, right, exactly. Jesse will stick his dick in anything with a hole, though, so we figured that out.
Seems
Um,
like a gross generalization. It has to at least be vagina shaped.
Or beehole shaped.
or mouth
Or
shaped.
beehole shaped.
Or mouth
Well,
shaped.
you know what? There are 3 shapes. Oh, you guys nailed it.
All right, so did you guys see that Tiger Woods was arrested on DUI today?
Oh yes.
I was so
Yes, I
excited.
did.
How awesome was that? Like, did you
The
see his
mugshot
mugshot?
was incredible.
Oh, so
I don't
good.
mean to sound like an asshole here, but when I saw that picture, I was like, "Wow, The Rock is really falling on hard times."
Oh shit!
He
That was
has
just my initial
significantly more
impression
hair
from
than The
looking at
Rock.
picture.
but
Yeah. Well, I looked at the picture and I was like, "Oh my god."
I was hoping when I read the story first, it was before I saw the mugshot. I was hoping that the mugshot was going to be Tiger Woods without the tooth.
Oh,
Do you remember that
so
picture?
good.
Do you remember that picture?
Yeah, after he and Elon had that fight, and
I don't remember.
he turned over his SUV.
This
She
is what
threw his
happens.
she threw his cell phone at him, popped her tooth out. You know,
No big deal.
This is
So
just what happens
nothing
when you
huge.
put your dick in a Denny's waitress. It's just all downhill from there. It's no coming back. It's like hooking up with a girl in Howe's Neck. Like, oh.
You know, the sad part is like Sarge is like, oh man, not Michael Clark Duncan got hair.
Jesus Christ!
And
Come on, man.
and he's
Give me some
alive.
credit.
Right.
Turns out
well,
that thin red line was a staph infection.
I only confuse Michael Clark Duncan with Ving Rhames, but now I don't because one of them is dead.
But
Oh,
you're
man.
still not sure which one.
You ever hear that one comment that gives you Forrest Whitaker eye?
yes.
Listen, I sympathize
Yes, I
with
do.
Forrest Whitaker and his head roll.
Actually, you know what? The first time I saw that, you guys ever heard of that rapper Fetty Wap?
I've heard of
No.
I
him,
know the
but-
sound.
Yeah.
So I saw the music video. It was playing in some music store I was in. And I looked and I was like, wow, Forrest Whitaker looks terrible.
Oh, shit.
Fetty Wap has one white eye.
To be honest, when hasn't he looked terrible?
He always looks like 3 steps away from death.
And they'd be limping steps.
He always looks like half of his face smokes some really good weed.
Well, you never know. It could be Bell's palsy.
I want him and Jim Ross to do a buddy comedy.
Oh no.
It's like the opposite sides of the face. They perfectly
Well,
complement
no,
running side by side.
it would be crazy if they were, if the faces were opposite. You know what I'm saying? The affected areas were opposite, and then they sat, and it could combine to make like one face. You know what I mean?
They could just act as each other's peripheral.
It would be half freaking J, but hey, you know.
Hey, it's not.
No,
It's
that's
not
not his
unheard
Twitter
of.
handle anymore. His Twitter handle is now the Jesse Miles.
Oh, it's the Jesse Miles.
Yep.
Yes.
My gamer
I
tag
know.
is
I think I
African
know
J.
that. I follow, but I don't look at people's handles. So
Hey, Hollywood, if you guys
unless they're love handles.
Ooh. If anyone in Hollywood is listening right now, if you just want to remake Hear No Evil, See No Evil, but use Jim Ross and Forrest Whitaker, you've got 5 people here who would watch that.
Dude, it's not unheard of. Remember that Rocky movie where they got the guy from Heroes to play his son simply because he has the same paralysis in his face?
Hey, can we?
He's got the
hey, can
same
we
lip
all-
thing as Stallone, so they're like, oh, get that guy.
Hey, can we all just take a minute since we're talking about Hollywood to congratulate Jesse on his strong showing in the competition? He came. What place did you come in, man?
I was in the bottom 3, but I was top
Bottom
6.
3. You were the bottom 3. Come
Come
on.
on.
Yeah.
Wow. I
There
like
you
I was
this
in the
go.
top 6.
I mean,
Give it up,
if
give
we
it up.
wanted like glass half full, he'd have been like, "Oh, I was in the top 3," but he was like, "Yeah, I was
Bottom
in the
3 of
bottom
the 6.
3."
No, you were in the top 6, not the bottom 3. That's
Yeah,
how
I
you say
know.
it. You were in the top 6.
Yes.
So when you say bottom 3, top 6, were you in 6th place?
No, I was
Okay,
at
good.
least,
Okay,
I was
good.
No.
Like 4th or 5th?
I was at least 4th.
Okay, awesome. See, there you go. That's
But
how
a
you
great
word it,
comic
dude.
one, Chris Post. I will plug his Twitter, cpost7 on Twitter. He's an awesome comic, and I'm happy
All right,
that
good.
he won.
And it wasn't some terrible person like Matt Hardy.
Oh my god, I would have burnt the world to the ground if Matt just snuck his way into the contest.
It'd be like that time I went and saw Jesse perform at Kwan's Kitchen, and that woman showed up who had never done comedy a day in her life.
It wasn't an open mic; it was a contest. I
I know.
don't know why she was there.
I know, and she's like, "I'm the funniest person in my family," and I was like, "Oh, I feel so bad for your family."
Is your
Yeah.
do you have a family of morticians?
All right, so guys, I've got a funny story for you, but before we do that, you can follow the show on Twitter at Musing Podcast. I am at Muse Knuckle, Sarge is at Bastard Prophet, Jesse is at the
Heyo.
Jesse Miles, Maynard is at Maynard, and John is at the JC Money.
Hooray!
Yeah.
You can go to Facebook and like our Facebook page, and you can find us on our website at www.misguidedmusings.com. So, with that being said, you can also subscribe on iTunes and Google Play and anywhere you podcast.
Podcast addict for
That's
life.
the one.
Yeah,
That's another
I
one.
love that app.
So funny story for you guys to read, for me to read to you. We can do another little What the Hell America, because why not? Couple unknowingly drives onto interstate with drunk man on trunk.
With the drunk man, so
The
I
couple
have so many questions.
Unknowingly drives onto the interstate with a drunk man on the trunk of their car.
Wasn't an elderly couple.
They're always missing shit.
I'm just trying to figure out how you could drive onto the
Well,
interstate
I'm gonna
with,
tell-
with a drunk man
was this
on
in
the
Florida?
trunk.
It was not
I
Florida.
saw this story. I saw the pictures of it.
All right, well then I'm going to have to
will
disqualify
exclude
Maynard
myself.
from the
Was it El
competition.
Camino? Like, how do you not see somebody on your trunk? You have to look out the window.
You'll find out when I tell you the story, but you need to guess what state.
Wait, was it in Indiana? Indiana's stupid too. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're on notice, Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana, you turd.
We're going stupid. I'm going to say Kentucky.
I'm going to say Virginia.
All right. Memphis, Tennessee.
God damn, we were close.
We're
We were
close.
also
So
close.
close.
Hey,
It's like playing
I
Battleship
mean, that's
with
a
this game.
that's a
You were
definite number
hovering.
2.
You were hovering.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, you sunk my incest ship.
a drunk man passed out and went on the ride on the trunk of a stranger's car down a busy highway in Memphis. The drunk man nor the driver knew it. Lucky he was alive, but the couple didn't find out that he went on this 14-mile trip with them until the police pulled them over. So they're on the highway, and the police had stopped them to tell them there was a man on the trunk of their car for the last 14 miles. And part of me wonders if the cop was sitting in the car like, let's just see how this plays out. And driving
Let's see
behind
if
him.
you know he was. You know he was, because if he probably laughed for 13 of those 14 miles, and was just like, okay. By the time he got to 14, he's like, okay, these people are effing idiots. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull these guys over.
Yeah, because he had
The
to
cop's like,
gauge,
all right,
like,
this
do
guy
they
might die.
know? Did they just
someone
run out
took
of
a picture
seat
that
room?
was driving next to them?
I love how America's like, oh my God, there's a drunk guy asleep in the back of this car. 1987, they would have called 911 from a payphone. In 2017, they take a picture with their phone, post it on Facebook,
And hope
and
for the
continue
best.
where they're going. No one called the police.
So the Carl Webb, who was the driver, and his wife were leaving Barbecue Fest in Memphis when they got to their car, which they had backed into a parking space. And so they just got in and left. It was dark out, and Webb's sunshade was stuck up, so he didn't see what was on his trunk. After driving about 14
The
miles...
sunshade was stuck up in the trunk, you saying? You
he
put it in
just
like
said
the back window?
the sunshade was stuck up. So I'm assuming that, yes, it was...
Yeah, it had to be the back window. Okay.
The officer came up and said, "Mister, are you aware there's a body on your trunk?" And he says,
In the trunk?
he
What?
said, "Sir, I'm not messing with you. There's a body on the trunk of your car." So they got out and walked around, and sure enough, still hanging on, still unconscious, just lying there, was a drunk guy who.
All right, I'm curious.
Maynard, can you send
what
the picture
kind of
to us?
car?
I will send you the
Yeah.
article.
What kind of car was this?
I need to know what this car looks like.
Yeah,
It was
I
a
just
sedan.
saw
It was
the-
only 14 inches of space on the back of the car.
Then how did he not fucking fall off?
No idea.
Right?
No idea.
Well, he must have been a fat dude.
No, he was actually super skinny. I'm sending you. I'm pulling up the picture now, and I'll send it to you guys.
Everything I know about physics is wrong.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
That's insane. This is my favorite What the Hell America story so far.
I don't know. I think my favorite goes all the way back to the GERE Network when I did the guy that lost his limb in the beaver dam. His wooden leg.
I remember that.
That's probably my favorite.
And somebody found it and brought it back to him?
Yes, actually.
That was a good one.
I'm pasting the image into our chat. So yeah, so that was a thing.
My favorite What the Hell America was when Sarge farted.
I'm never going to live that down.
Nah,
Was
Dude,
the woman with the mattress?
let me
What
tell
the
you
hell, America?
because I could tell you right now, since I'm here on the podcast, I could tell you right now, I frequently attend these meetings, right? When I'm at the real job, the real 9 to 5. And I attend these meetings, and half the time I don't listen to anything they say. So I have my Bluetooth headphones on me, and I happened to be listening with one earbud in to that episode. And when Sarge made the fart, of course, knowing me, if you know who I am, anybody that's listening knows who I am, knows that I find farts incredibly hilarious. Needless to say, I did not disappoint with my reaction in said meeting, which got a bunch of looks, and I'm like, I gotta step out for a quick second. So I step out of this meeting, and I go into the break room to go refill my water, or so they thought. And that's when I fired out like about 60 tweets of enjoyment for that segment. So
I just sent you guys.
Thank you, Sarge.
I sent you guys the picture of.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Glad I
the
could
drunk
help.
guy in the back of his trunk.
Hope you follow me on Twitter.
So that was a thing. Now, for the listeners at home, you may have noticed that there's a theme to this evening by the two stories that I talked about.
oh my god, it's a picture.
I told you there was a picture. I did not lie.
He looks so comfortable, and I like that on the pic. So the picture is there's a police officer. There's flashing lights. There had to have been a siren. Not to mention the fact that the car had to have stopped at some point.
Well, yeah. So
He didn't move. He didn't wake up.
he was passed out drunk. They actually had to they had to wait they had to do a lot of work to wake him up.
So everyone was an idiot.
Well, it's Memphis.
They must have been
Fascinating.
driving really, really slow because the way he's laying, like, no way if they are
He looks
not.
comfortable.
And he's got a Hawaiian shirt on too, which is even funnier.
Maybe he was just looking for a ride home. I don't know. So I guess this is now a good time to tell the listeners that this episode is about our run-ins with the law enforcement, and we actually have a listener story as well. So good,
Yes,
bad,
we
or
do.
ugly, this whole episode is dedicated to us bumping into police at some point, whether drunk or sober.
We actually have a listener story from the greatest, I think, Twitter handle. It is ChupaTaco at pork_sword_. So, actually, hold on. It's ChupaTaco American flag emoji.
Oh,
at pork_sword_. He's actually a friend of mine. He's a fellow soldier. He's an MP, and his story's pretty fucking
All right,
funny.
so we will get to all of our stories after the break.
boo.
Boo. And poo, because I got to go make one.
Oh,
God damn it.
This is brought to you by the law offices of Haggis, McDonut, and McCheese. Have you ever been on the business end of a police officer's pointer finger?
You fucking know it, boyo.
You ever tried hot yoga naked after smoking a wicked joint?
Yeah, and I shit on the floor twice.
You ever get caught with your pants down in an Asian massage parlor?
I'm not proud of it, but I did it.
You ever tried to stay awake on a podcast after taking 4 muscle relaxers?
I'm doing that right.
Hey,
Yeah. Back to the game. Let's do it.
you ever tried to finger fuck a glory hole in Andrew Square?
Wait, who told you about that?
If you've ever found yourself on the wrong end of Johnny Law, then the law offices of Haggis, McDonut, and McCheese are for you. Because we're going to get you off. Not in a glory hole, but in a court of law.
Can I go to like the glory hole after you get me off?
What you do with your own time is on you, sir. But we'll get you off if you go to that glory hole.
Bully.
This has been brought to you by the law offices of Haggis, McDonough, and McCheese. And welcome back to the episode. I just decided to do something different on the way in tonight. So
Jordan's very hostile.
yeah, no,
Hey, Jordan, you haven't been fired yet? What's going on?
yeah, no. It was an awkward break because
Right.
it's really quiet in the break, and so I was trying to build up conversation, and then all these guys started telling me they hated my voice.
Well, it's because you have a terrible voice.
I guess
It sounds like nails peeling a chalkboard. You're not even scratching it.
you know what.
You should start adding filters to it.
You know
Oh
the
my
alien
God,
voice.
I'm gonna start talking in a wah-wah.
Oh, great. You know the voice from Independence Day from
Oh,
the
no.
Alien? It's kind of like yours.
I'm sorry.
No peace.
So, that's funny. Yeah, no, you know what I like in this too? People hating my voice is that scene from Step Brothers where he's like, "I just hate your face," and he's like, "There's nothing I can do about that. I'll work on it, I guess." But I just want to punch it. So I feel like somebody wants to punch my voice, and I'm not okay with that.
I just see a tweet here that says, Jordan, I wish I had a pillowcase full of bars of soap. Could beat the shit out of you.
So
He said Step Brothers. I saw the tweet. It's on Twitter. Hey, I just tweeted, by the way, at the Chasing Money. Doing.
is this like that time that Cracker Jesse Miles showed up halfway through an episode?
My favorite Twitter account.
Careful, Jesse will go on a blocking spree. So
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get someone's account banned almost.
So salty.
yeah, no, he really was. He was.
I like
you know
that
what?
flavor.
You know what? Now that we're going to be on salty real quick, everybody says that like it's a bad thing. Chips, like the original flavor of chips is salt.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. I think
I love
salt
salt.
is the original flavor. So,
Who eats unsalted chips?
Fucking
douchebags.
terrorists. That's who eats
Do
unsalted
you know
chips.
they sell
ISIS.
unsalted butter?
Oh.
Why?
Right.
I made that mistake once and I was so angry. I was so mad.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all. It's kind of like non-alcoholic beer. I mean, you
It
don't.
tastes like
What's the
garbage. It
difference?
tastes like boiled
Why
fat
do you? Why would they
without
do that?
salt.
Yeah, what are you trying to prove, America, with your unsalted shit?
Damn you, America!
I just take for granted that people say that, like, of all these flavors, you chose salty. Well, yeah, it's the best fucking flavor besides bacon, which is also super salty. Dicks.
I'm salty as hell all the time. I don't care.
Anyway, all right.
Mhm.
So, like I said before, the episode tonight is about stories involving law enforcement, and I think we are going to start with Sarge, who is
Heyo.
going to tell us about a time that he was arrested.
No.
Oh.
We're going to talk about. So, as many of you know, I was when I was in the military. I was in the military police, and I didn't know dick about being a cop. And I thought that going to basic training, learning how to be a military cop would teach me that, and it didn't. So, most of the military police stuff.
What was the
is
most
just you
important
learning the
lesson
job.
that you actually learned? Out of just
How to make
morbid curiosity.
convincing car noises with his mouth.
he started walking around behind people going wee wee.
The most important lesson I learned would probably have to be, if you're gonna fall asleep, do it underneath your bed so that they don't see you. That was
All right.
just
So it's better
we
to
would have
disappear
to
from your
clean-
post than
yeah,
to
no, we would
be
have to
caught
clean our
asleep.
barracks. No, like on Sundays we would have like 2 hours that we were left completely alone and we had to clean our barracks. And so you had to do this thing where you'd get under your bed and you'd pull the sheets tight between the springs. And so what you would see is like a whole room of guys underneath their bed with their fingers like intertwined between the springs, just completely fucking racked out. But you couldn't say anything because if they woke you up, you'd just be like, "Oh, I was just tightening the bed sheets." When really you were fucking completely napping. And I did that every Sunday. They were like, "Oh, go to church, you'll get donuts and coffee." And I was like, or I could sleep under my bed and no one would bother me for 2 hours. So that was the most important lesson I learned. If you're sleeping, always look like you're busy while sleeping.
He also learned to pull it in a porta potty. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, you got to do every once in a while. You got to get a good tuggerino out. You learn a lot about yourself as a man when it's sub-zero temperatures and you're cranking away. In a
they
porta
stopped
john.
making y'all take saltpeter?
No, see, that was a myth. I've asked a lot of people about that, and that never happened. It was like a thing that people talked about, and they used to do it in the Navy back in like the 1800s, but they don't do it in basic training.
Oh,
Fear is actually a really good boner killer, so for your first 2 weeks, you're not going to get one anyway.
all right. Well,
You
but
don't
then
know my
after that,
boner.
I'm right there. Took it right out of my mouth there. Oh wait.
Uh-oh.
Hey, there we go.
Whoa.
I walked right into that one. Go ahead.
Now who's got the Just for Farmers profile?
No,
So anyway,
no. Mine is blackpeoplemeet.com.
I'd still be on there.
That is a legit one. Go ahead and look it up. I dare you. Go ahead. Do it. You won't.
No, I know it's there. So anyway, so in this training class, they were teaching us how to search a suspect, and the drill sergeant was pretty fucking adamant about searching the groin area of the prisoner.
What possibly go wrong?
Because that's where people hide shit, right? So there was this kid in my basic training class that I didn't know because he was in a different section of the barracks, so I never really saw him other than we were in our training. So he's lying on the ground and he's handcuffed, and I got to search him. And so the idea is you like untuck the boots from the pants, check the boots, make sure you're checking his pockets. You want to crush and roll so that if there's anything sharp in there, it doesn't stab you. And then I got to the inevitable point. Yeah. So you got to the inevitable point where like I had to search the groin area, and I'd saved it for last because I didn't want to do it.
You can say penis. It's okay. This is an internet show.
Well, okay. So anyway, they said like I got to that point, and I was like trying to like. For lack of a better word, I guess, like pussyfoot around that. You know? So I'm really trying not to get in there. And what I knew is that they had taken all the kids that we were being searched away and hidden contraband on them. And I hadn't found the contraband yet. And I knew that the search wasn't over until I had found the weapon. So I'm gingerly kind of, and then finally I'm like, I found it. And then the drill sergeant comes over and the kid's like, no, you didn't. And I was like, is this you? The kid's like, yup. So immediately, of course, we both like freak. You know that scene in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles when John Candy's got his hand between Steve Martin's ass and Ben, they both like jump up and like, so how about the Bears? So we both like completely freaked out. I like jumped away. And the drill sergeant's like, that's real good. Sorry. He's like, that's real good, Private. Sometimes, that's going to happen. You're going to search a guy, he's going to have a huge dick. And you're just going to have to be okay with it. Oh, my God.
Sergeant's sitting there and he's like, hey, drill sergeant, why'd you give this guy a can of Red Bull?
We had
how I know Sarge isn't gay? He thought a penis was a gun.
We had a good 7 weeks left in that basic training class, and me and that kid never made eye contact again.
Until you did. Then what happened?
Yeah.
But he had earned your respect.
And you had his.
Well, given the amount of zero action we all got in basic training, I'm sure that was probably the highlight of his training class. that crush and roll technique right on his dick. And then the worst part is, like, afterwards, we're on the bus on the way back, and I'm thinking to myself, like, Jesus Christ, that kid's he's basically got an extra leg for me to think that was like a baton or maybe like a knife handle. I wasn't even that high up there, you know what I mean?
Roll of quarters.
You're like, if he wanted to, he could wear 2 vests.
Oh, man, that was the weirdest experience of my life.
All right.
Oh man, that's a tough one to
I don't know that anything's gonna be that good.
Maynard
So you're saying you served overseas and you encountered an IED, an impossibly erect dick.
Well, see, that was the weird thing about it. When I grabbed it, I was like, is it drugs? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, did they just take like a bunch of drugs and roll it up in a Ziploc bag? Like, why is it squishy?
Why am I thinking about camp right now?
Drill sergeant, why'd you stuff a sock down this guy's junk?
Did you tell him to moan? Because this is weird.
Who gave this guy a cucumber? I don't know.
Oh man! Suddenly everything smells like chlorine. What happened?
Oh Lord!
Excuse me, drill sergeant. He's backing into me. I don't know what's going on here.
Oh boy! All right, Maynard. I think you're up.
Well, there's no dick.
Oh,
in this story,
okay.
So
Next up, then.
I'll just let that. I'll let that right out. I know a lot of you probably know that once you cross the border into New Hampshire from Massachusetts or Vermont, for that matter, that the state police up there love to pull over the out-of-staters, right?
Yeah.
Anybody ever been pulled over up there?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I haven't been pulled over, but 9 out of 10 times, if you get pulled over with Massachusetts plates in New Hampshire, you're getting a fucking ticket.
Yeah. So I got a ticket. This is the first time that I learned that, and I was 18 and driving a friend of mine's car who would let me drive. I didn't have my own car at the time, so I was like, let's drive. It was the friend's father's car. This thing was an 8-cylinder. I don't know what kind of car it was, but you even touched the gas, and this thing was doing 60 miles an hour. So we're going up into northern New Hampshire for some sort of party with a trunk full of beer. I'm 18, and inevitably I see a police officer, pulls us, we go by him, and there's another police officer up about a mile, and he is literally just pointing at people to pull over. So like, okay,
I've had that happen.
we're fucked. We have a trunk full of beer, we're 18, and I'm doing about 90 right now.
Yeesh.
Oh, you were doing 90 in New Hampshire?
I was doing
That
Fuck.
is ill-advised.
That is a poor decision.
I was 18, and this car went really fast, and I was having a good time. I had not touched any of the beer, luckily, so nobody's been drinking or anything. We hadn't got to that point yet. We were merely transporting. So the officer comes up. He's got his boots. He's got his gigantic, hat, and the whole Super Troopers
They
thing.
do
on.
have huge hats up there.
Why
They
are the
do.
hats so big? That can't be
It's
practical
intimidating.
when you're chasing a subject.
It's got to be intimidating.
But if you're like chasing a suspect and you've got that big doofy hat on, it's got to provide a ton of wind resistance.
I mean, the Mounties.
Yeah, the wind's gonna catch
the
it.
Mounties get
knock
away
it
with
right
it.
off.
Maybe it acts like a spoiler.
They didn't
You know
have
what I
the
mean? Like it
huge
keeps him
boots,
lower to the
too.
ground as he's running.
It made him walk really slow, I can tell you that. But so
He's like, do you know how many moose I've shot this month?
in the 5 minutes it took him to walk from his car all the way to my car, well, my friend's father's car, I should say. The whole time, my friend and I are just like, please don't look in the trunk. Please don't look in the trunk. Please don't look in the trunk. So we go through the whole entire spiel. License and registration. Please don't look in the trunk. Please don't look in the trunk. And
He gets in the
The
car.
mistake was saying that over
I'll
and
give
over
you my
again.
license, but don't look in the trunk.
yes. So I give him my license, and he goes through, and he's like, "Do you know how fast you're going?" I'm like, I have a pretty good idea of how fast I was
That
going.
was your first mistake.
He's like,
Maybe.
well, everybody was. It was like I said, there was a lot. Like it wasn't just us. It wasn't just me that was speeding. It was a whole bunch of people, and he was just pointing at people to pull over. So we just got caught in a trap.
Gotcha.
So we
caught
finally.
in a trap.
I was
I
waiting
can't
for it.
look
I was
back.
waiting for that.
Yeah, the trap is called willingly going 90.
Again, I was 18. I didn't get to drive that much, so I was enjoying it, and that's the fuck up. So he finally is about to let us go, and my friend was like, "Hey, officer, so like, does this go on his license? This is my father's car." And he's like, "Yeah, don't worry, it's just him that's fucked." And
Oh, thank God. Thank you, sir.
That is the most New Hampshire thing ever.
So my friend's super excited. I'm still shitting my pants, and the officer kind of walks around towards the back, and then he just goes back to his car, and and that was pretty much the end of it. But I learned never to go 90 up on 93 in New Hampshire ever again. And
Yeah, I mean, like if you have contraband in the trunk, you generally want to avoid breaking the law as much as you possibly can.
hey, we were 18.
I love how it's not a blanket, never go 90.
Yeah,
really
I
wanted
was
to
kinda
drink
leaning
it.
that way too. There.
So if you guys, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a serial killer named Joel Rifkin, but he was a very, very prolific serial killer in New York and New
Wasn't that
Jersey.
a character in
Is he the
Seinfeld?
guy drowning people in the Charles?
Wait, are you talking about
Yeah,
the former
right.
shortstop of the Baltimore Orioles? Cal Ripken?
No.
Bad
So
joke.
anyway,
was
so
Billy
Joel
Rifkin.
Rifkin, he had a dead body in the back of his car, and the police pulled up behind him and flashed the lights. They had no idea what was going on in the back of his car. So he sees the cops, and he thinks, "All right, I'm just gonna drive into the water. Like I'm just gonna kill myself and end it." So he started driving towards the beach to kill himself. I can't remember exactly what happened, but obviously he didn't make it to the beach. He gets stopped. The police come over. They see the dead body, and he's in the police car, and he's getting driven back to the station. And he goes, "So why'd you guys pull me over?" And he's like, "Your taillight was out." No, your license plate had fallen off. And he's like, "It's always a 5-cent part."
Oh, all right then.
So good.
So always make sure your gear's in order if you've got beer or a dead hooker in the trunk. Just remember that, gang.
Or in my case, if you had Zima and some Jack Daniels country coolers.
Oh,
Zima.
You-
Hey, you know Zima's being
you were
re-released
afraid
for a
of
little bit.
Zima?
I'm excited.
Hear about that?
You were afraid of getting caught with Zima. I would be afraid of getting caught with Zima. I wouldn't want people finding that out.
Hey,
I'm
you
more
know
afraid
what?
of being caught
You know what?
sober.
Sometimes.
Hey, you guys aren't old enough to know what happened back then, man. Zima came out and we were all just, what Zima? We gotta have this.
The hardest part about drinking Zima is telling people that you're gay afterwards.
That is when you tell them that you're not gay, your boyfriend is. Then it makes it all good.
It's not gay if you put liquor in the
Yeah.
Zima, all right?
Oh boy.
If you drink whiskey with Zima, you're bisexual.
Yeah, there you go. You're a switch hitter.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
we're gonna go. We're just gonna move this right along to Jesse. Actually, before we get too deep down that rabbit hole.
Okay, well, my story takes place at age 18 because that's generally when people have run-ins with the cops.
See?
It's just what happens.
Hold on.
What,
Quick survey here. How many of us have had encounters with the police at the age of 18? I know I have.
I just described one.
Yeah.
Maynard,
I gotta say no.
Jordan, Jesse.
I gotta say no.
John,
Yeah,
really?
yep.
There's really not much to
When
do in
was-
Western New
There's,
York.
there's not a whole
Well,
lot.
yeah, that's why I figured you'd get arrested.
Well, wait, what's that supposed to mean?
I'm just saying, there's a lot of
you're
serial
from-
killers
are you
from upstate New York. That's all I'm saying.
Westchester?
No, I mean like nothing outside of the speeding ticket or whatever, but nothing is. Well, you see, with me, and I'm not getting into my story time, and I don't mean to cut into yours, but
Oh, no.
like with me, my stepfather was part of the FBI, so
Oh,
and,
well,
and,
I mean-
and he was also retired from the Rochester Police Department. So I had the benefit of an officer's son badge on me.
That's
Wait, they have
fantastic.
those?
They give you an
Yes.
extra
They have an officer's son badge?
Yeah, I have a friend of mine whose cousin is a detective in NYPD, and he actually has a gold badge. It's a tiny little gold badge that sits in his wallet, and when he gets pulled over, he gets to flash that, and everyone leaves.
It worked.
Pretty
It
awesome.
worked.
I don't
Seriously,
mean to
it
be
worked
a dick,
until
but that's kinda
about.
fucked up.
It worked until about 4 years ago. There's one guy who just. There's one guy who pulled me over.
Sir, you're 45.
Yeah, it didn't really work anymore. I have my own kids in the car. I've got grays in the beard, and they're like, "Yeah, f you, buddy. Here you go. You were going.
Oh my
You were
God.
going 70 in a 35. Fuck you." Mm-mm.
I mean, when you think about it, though, that's kind of fucked up. I mean, like, nobody has more fucked up kids than, like, teachers and
Yeah.
cops. You know what I mean?
Have you ever seen like Footloose, Preacher's Daughters?
Oh, yeah. I've had my own experiences with preacher's daughters.
Oh,
Let's move on.
religious
Let's
kids.
continue. Sorry.
Okay, so at 18, the one thing you love to do is drink illegally.
In the
So
woods,
I was
in
visiting-
Quincy on a rock.
Were you
Actually,
were you
I was
driving
visiting
with
some
Maynard?
old friends in Plymouth. I went all the way back to colonial days when white people first got here and fucked the joint up.
Well, hey, at the rate
So-
Washington's going, we'll be there again in about another 6 months.
Facts.
Yeah, pretty much. So we go to this person's house. We hear that there's a house party taking place, and it's this girl's first time throwing a house party. So we know it'll be fantastic.
Mistakes were made.
When someone doesn't know the rules, the party is the best. It's just a learning experience for them and a blast
learning
for
curve.
us. So we get to the house party. Everyone's having a blast. She comes downstairs with like a vodka melon. For those of you who don't know, that's when you cut a watermelon in half and hollow
And
it
then
out
fuck
and
it?
fill it with vodka.
I need to update
Yeah,
my Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, the watermelon soaks all the vodka in, and people were drinking it like a punch bowl. There was a lot of weed circulating around as well, so we all reeked. And then someone comes down the stairs and he goes, "Guys, cops!" And everybody freaks out. And then he starts laughing, and he's like, "I'm just fucking with you." And we thought that he was a horrible human being.
As he is. So
And we continue to do illegal drugs and drink until someone else came down the stairs and yelled, "Guys, cops!" And we start laughing until he makes a beeline for the screen door, whips it open, and just disappears into the woods.
Jeez.
And we realize he's not kidding. And we all bolt out the same screen door without any confirmation that
Oh,
they're
man.
there.
I just picture Jesse sitting there like, I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah, and then we were all just like, "That's not a joke." And, like, it took a second to realize, and then we heard like a knock on the door, and we were like, "All right, we're going, scatter." And my favorite image is as we're running away from the house, I turned around and saw the girl just standing there with two people's bowls who had put them in their hand. So she's standing there next to a watermelon filled with vodka and two pipes of weed, and everyone has abandoned her. Like our first house party, and she's about to have a terrible night.
That's terrible.
Now they're letting everybody go, except we bolt through the woods because we parked a street over because we're smart. We know that
Yeah,
a first-time
you have to
party is
know.
getting
You
broken
have
up
to
by a
know.
noise complaint. So we've already planned our escape, but as we come out, there is a cop there, and we reek like weed. So he asked us to pop the trunk. My friend took the bullet. He was like, "Officer, it was my weed. We were smoking." He's like, "All right, we'll just open the trunk. I want to see what's in here." And he opens the trunk and pulls out a gas mask.
Jesus Christ.
And the cop goes, he's bewildered by the whole thing. And he just goes, "So what is this for?"
Plumbing?
Like thinking we're a terrorist or something. And my friend goes, "Officer, it's for smoking weed." And he looks at him and he goes, "All right, I'm going to give you one more chance. Really, what is this for?" And he goes, "No, you can click a bong onto the front and then you can like hit it and like it fills up so you can only breathe the weed and it gets you really high." And the officer laughs. He goes, "Ha!" And he put the mask back in the trunk, shut the trunk, and said, "Get the fuck out of here."
That's amazing.
He was so amused by the gas mask that he was like, "Go on. Get the fuck out of here. This is
Okay.
insane."
He's like, "You're a straight shooter. You go ahead.
Yeah.
I like the cut of your jib,
Get
son.
out of here."
Some cops are okay when you're right.
Oh,
that
you're
is-
a terrible person.
I mean, it was Plymouth. Did you think anyone there wasn't?
Oh god.
There could have
that's
been. There
funny.
could have been the token black guy, you know?
I'm surprised he didn't smell it on you, Jesse.
No, he smelt it on all of us. That's why he searched the car, but we had smoked it
I was
all.
talking about the fact that you had Jerry curls and
Oh no, I used to get pulled over all the time, and like a cop literally came up to my window, bewildered, like, "Freeze it!" Like he was confused to see a white guy. I was like, "Did I drive by?" And you were like, "There's a disturbance in the forest," and like hit your lights.
You get pulled over, the cop walks up to the window and he's like, "I want to beat you half to death."
Literally, a cop pulled me over one time, and he saw that my car was full of garbage because I was a horrible human being when I was younger. And he was like, "You know what? You can go. Your high beams were on. Just turn them off." Like he felt bad for how
You- the-
dirty
the
my
sad
car
And then when
was.
you
the
turned
sad
them off,
part
and then
about
when you
Jesse-
turned them off, your low beams showed your lights were blown. So
yeah, that was the problem. Is with the sad part about Jesse is the reason his high beams were on is because he had no headlights.
Yeah, it was a
man.
94 Crown Vic. It was not good.
Actually, there was one time that Jesse and I got pulled over, and the cop came up and was like, "Oh, you've got a perm," and Jesse's like, "Yep, got a perm," and that was it.
I had very Jerry Curl-like hair, I will admit to that. It wasn't a perm, it was just how my hair was. It was permanent.
Well, I guess it was kind of a perm, but it was actually permanent. It was like, always there.
I'm
total
actually
fixture
not
in your
sad
head.
I went bald. I'm fine with it.
Neither is your girlfriend.
The only problem about
No,
Jesse,
she likes it.
The only
Yeah.
problem about Jesse going bald is the fact that you can count the rolls on the back of his neck every time he sits down.
He's like
I-
a tree. He's like a tree. Every decade he gets a new role. Jesse, how old are you? Hold on, let me look up.
Oh shit!
I am this many rolls.
oh
Oh
man.
god! All right. Well, and I think John's gonna follow.
Yeah, I don't.
So good luck to you.
Totally not. Like I'm gonna bring it right back down to the disappointment level because it is not nearly as entertaining as that. At least I don't think.
So it's like sex with me then. Touchdown.
so we've gone.
My late friend Levon was pulled over.
So this story will take you back to the days when I worked as an assistant manager at a former video rental retail chain whose name I will not
Blockbuster.
say, but their initials are Blockbuster Video.
Hollywood Video.
West Coast.
and with
All the free, oddly shaped cardboard boxes of Reese's
oh
Pieces
man,
you
it
want.
was. Let me tell you, so I got Blockbuster stories for days. But with this one here, there was like a group of 2 or 3 freaking American gentlemen that would go store to store, and they would either have large garbage bags or whatever, and they would just openly and loudly start clearing the shelves. And one would clear the shelf into the bag, the other one would be in the car, and then the third one would be in the store, like yelling and making threats to the people behind the counter. And so, like, they were hitting all the stores, And, we all got the voicemails of when it would happen and the descriptions and whatever. And this is back.
Could you imagine back then they didn't have email to warn people?
No.
Or text?
Yeah,
there
if
was
you didn't answer the phone,
not.
you had no
They
idea.
were cell phones were just starting to boom out, but there were no camera phones back then, so they didn't take a picture.
Wait. So did you have to like go to CVS and like get a 1 hour develop of your dick and then mail it to someone?
Well,
Setting the
yes.
deal.
Post on. Let's see, what was good back then? I think LiveJournal was like the thing back then.
The amount of photos you guys
Hold on.
don't pick up at CVS, we see.
Hold on, I'm gonna send you a picture of my dick. Wait 3 to 5 business days.
So these guys make their way to my store, and at that point in time, I'm still fresh into training with wrestling. I'd already gone, done several shows in different cities and stuff. So around that time, I had started to, kind of got with a local MMA guy before MMA was huge. And he and I would, spar a little bit or whatever. Like, I'd show him some wrestling moves and he'd show me some submissions and things like that. It was pretty cool.
And then Sarge grabbed
And then
a
you
penis.
both came.
Yes. But it didn't happen 10 minutes after. So,
Oh man, this wrestling match smells like Astroglide.
ass crack and nutsack. But
John was just like, I don't have a weapon. We are not training. What's wrong with you?
So at that time, I've got that going on. Plus, I'm taking some things, some workout stuff that's
Substances. Some
That would-
substances. Your pre-workout.
They
he was
rhyme
at
with
this-
meroids.
back then, it was legal, but it would probably get you suspended from Major League Baseball.
Smashmormons
Or not.
enhancing
Right.
drugs.
So I was already on edge as was, right? So these guys came in, and it
Crispin
And it was-
juice.
fuck this one.
Listen,
But,
hang in there, bro.
So
I think Chris Benoit, didn't he?
He killed his
killed-
whole
yeah,
family, then
yeah.
he killed himself, which isn't
What the fuck
actually
is this
funny in
finishing
any
move?
way.
It's
Yeah,
fucked.
None of that is
yeah,
funny,
no.
actually, now that
no,
I think
it's
about it.
pretty miserable.
No.
But
He's a garbage
Yeah,
pail of a
he's
person. Okay,
terrible.
continue.
dead piece of shit. But
I'm kind of glad he's dead.
He's getting a biopic.
so
You know, I don't understand about the whole murder-suicide thing is, don't kill other people. Just fucking kill yourself. Everyone else around you will be better off.
It's
Don't
really
take
hard to
anyone
work
with
up
you.
to that.
yeah, I don't know.
He's got to get the practice in.
Well, he wanted
He's
somebody
like,
to
now
be
that I
sad.
have an excuse, this
So
is easy.
so this guy comes in,
Sorry.
and this time when they came to my store, there was only 2 of them. So one guy comes in, and he comes around and he does the usual thing that they said the other store sent through the script. They'll start asking about movies that don't exist, different things to try and get you to be friends with them or whatever. So then he goes back to the video game section, and then he comes back up and he looks at me and he says, "Hey, by any chance, do you have a garbage bag?" And I looked at him. And I said,
Oh,
"What in
no.
the blue hell would I want to give you a garbage bag for?" He was like, "Well, just it's just so I could clean some of the stuff out of my car." And I said, "Bruh, you were dropped off and your car went across the street to the Wegmans. So, no." He's like, "Well, do you have
Just
do you
go buy
have
some at
any
Wegmans.
do you have any bags that you could give me?" And I said, "Yeah, here's one." I gave him this little Blockbuster bag. It said, "Have a Blockbuster night" on there. And he's like, "No, it's okay. I'm good. I was like, "Yeah, okay." So he goes back. Then I start hearing the shelves starting to clear, so I knew that this was the guy. And he's like, just starts yelling. He's like, "You're not going to do anything. You're not going to do anything. If you pick up the phone and you call the cops, I'll kill you. If you try and come over here and stop me, I'll kill you. I'm taking whatever I want. There's nothing you're going to do." And I was like, "Okay, really?" So not the smartest in my life, but so then I decide, well, if you're going to go ahead and you're going to make threats and you're going to be a big tough guy, then maybe you're going to want to fight. I said, "So I'm going to go lock the store. And if you want to get out, you got to go through me." So I start walking to the door with the key in my hand. And all of a sudden, he opens his jacket, and it's like everything, like games just drop. Like, he's shaking his legs as he's stuffing them down his pants and everything. He's like, "Bro, I'm sorry, bro. Don't lock me in here, man. Don't lock me in here. See, I got nothing on me. And he's, he doesn't have a weapon on him or whatever. Then he tries to reach for the key out of my hand. So I end up like backhanding the guy. Grabbing him. He tried to run for the door. I grabbed him and literally like German suplex this guy. right into the floor.
Is that like a regular suplex but with poop?
Yes. No, belly to back, and you just lift them up, and you bridge back, and you just like drop them. So,
Did you yell Suplex City, bitch?
oh, it was long before that. But so now I've got this guy down. I've pinned him with my forearm to his throat, and I've got my old little flip phone, and I start to call 911. And the guy, to his credit, catches me with a really good right hand to the temple. So I kind of like, fall down. The phone falls down. Guy kicks down the door and they had the big glass doors. Kicks down the door, bolts out. I bolt out after him. The cops then zoom by because I don't know what tipped him off or something, or maybe it was just the fact that my phone, I was dialing 911. I hit send, and when they answered, they hear a struggle or whatever. I don't know. Cops zoom by. This guy hops the fence. I lost him. So I start heading back to the store because I remember there was other people in the store. And his friend comes over and around, and then he asks me and the cop, because the cop asked what happened. So I gave him the story, whatever. His friend comes back around and says, hey, do you guys know how to get to Lyle Avenue from here? And for those of you in local to Boston, Lyle Avenue is the hooker district of Rochester. So I looked at him and I was like, yeah, I don't doubt that you have any idea where that is. Go back inside. 2 weeks later, I get promoted and I get sent to another store. These guys come.
Please tell me it was Lyle Ave.
No. But they wanted me to go there. And I'm like, no. They ended up sending me to another town, Irondequoit. 2 weeks later, they come back into that store, try the same thing again. Fortunately, there were 2 off-duty police officers that just happened to be, hanging out. They were getting some games themselves or whatever, and they were at the register when this, started happening. And so they, kind of get their bags and they start looking, going over to where the AOL discs were, which tells you how long ago this was.
10-day free
I
trial.
want my 3 free hours.
So they start the whole thing with these two off-duty officers in the store. So one goes around one side, the other goes around the other side, and you're like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? What's going on? He's like, man, who are you? You better get out of my face. And he starts threatening these guys. So while he is looking at one off-duty officer towards the aisle, facing the new release wall, the other one comes from behind him, blindsides him, tackles him down, takes him down, handcuffs him, and I end up getting a phone call because I wasn't there when this happened, and they're like, dude, you gotta believe, you can't believe what's happening here, and they go through it all. So that's like the most.
A cop arrested the guy, didn't shoot him.
No, it was long before that stuff started happening. But that's my story for that.
So great.
Yeah, that is amazing.
That actually happened in North Quincy. Someone tried to rob a Blockbuster, wound up grabbing a bunch of Nintendo 64 games. They had the safety button,
that for a second.
so they locked the door from the inside, so he couldn't get out. Genius decided to jump through the glass window, cut an artery in his leg, and bled out in the
kidding
parking
me.
lot. No, he died for some N64
That's
games.
incredible.
Jordan remembers.
That was a thing.
That is a timeless video game console, so I don't blame him.
Oh boy.
Wow.
That's funny.
Don't rob Blockbusters. It never works out.
So I've got a few stories that I could tell in this instance, as I'm going to go next before we get to a list.
Hey, Jordan, you're not fired yet? What? Wow. All right.
Yeah, I've made it.
Still
I
here.
made it through
He's still
2/3 of
All
an
right.
episode, so I think I'm doing all right.
Just don't tell it in your voice, okay?
Tell it somebody else's voice.
Um,
Can you sound like Sean Connery? So there I was, having sex with Miss Moneypenny.
I was shitting on the sheet.
That sounds more like Buffalo Bill.
Maybe Crocodile Dundee.
Put the fucking lotion in the basket.
So, I've got a few stories that I could tell. I have one that I could probably embarrass Jesse with.
What?
Well,
curiosity's killing the cat. Now you have to.
I got one that I could embarrass Jesse with a little bit, but he uses it.
What is it with you upstate New York guys and this serial killer shit?
Well,
Fucking killing cats
no, I
over
know
the
here.
exactly
winter,
what
the
story
winters
you're
here are
talking
brutal,
about.
man.
So I've got one that Jesse uses in his stand-up, so I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it for him.
Thank you, and I know what story you're thinking of.
So I'll stay away from that. But I guess in the event that Matt's not here, I'm going to tell a story that involves Matt because being 18 with Matt, you guys could imagine that was a pretty tough time, especially when you could convince Matt easily to do stupid things like moon a man in a parking lot from 400 feet away. And so,
Well, I mean, who hasn't done that, really? I mean,
so for those of you who are local to the Boston area, we were walking through the MBTA stop in Wollaston, and we were in the parking lot, and there was just happens to be this this Asian man walking, I would say easily 400 feet away. And there's a group of 6 of us, and I looked at Matt and I said, "Hey, I think you should just moon that Asian guy. It'd be really funny." And Matt, to his credit, didn't think twice before dropping his pants and screaming whatever it was and mooning an Asian man from across the parking lot. So his girlfriend at the time is walking away, shaking her head in disgust because she wanted no part of that. And our friends are walking a little bit ahead of us. And out of nowhere, you see blue lights. And a cop car comes in so fast and stops within 3 inches of Matt. And the guy gets out of the car and starts screaming at Matt. And the cop's like, "What the fuck's wrong with you? I saw you from fucking across the parking lot." Like, in Matt's face. Now, at this point, it's been very well documented that Matt's not a citizen. So,
and terrified of the police.
oh my God, yes.
Even if he was a citizen, terrified of the police.
So this guy is screaming. He's like nose to nose with Matt. And I'm kind of standing beside Matt because I wasn't smart enough to walk faster than he was. And the cop's like, "What are you, a diddler? You want to go down as a diddler because you just exposed yourself in public and blah blah blah." And so
this
Matt
had to have happened in the 90s.
And Matt's sitting there freaking out, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I was just being a dumb kid, and my pants were falling down, and so I was just fixing it." And the cop is like, "Don't fucking lie to me." He's doing like the dad poke to Matt, and he's like, "Don't you fucking lie to me. I saw what you did." And he's like, "I'm sorry. It was just being a stupid adolescent." And then, again, instantly Matt flipped to, and then, my belt is broken, so I was fixing it. And so in the course of like 5 minutes of what seemed like 5 minutes, Matt is standing there freaking out, telling 4 or 5 different stories to this cop as to why he had dropped his pants. And amazingly, the cop looks at him and goes, "Do you have an ID on you?" And Matt goes, "I'm not even 18 yet, so I don't have an ID on me," which was clearly a lie. But, at this time, we're still in high school. And he's like, "I might have my school ID, but I don't drive. I don't have my license. I don't have anything." And the cop goes, "Get the fuck out of my face. And if I see you again," he goes, I'm going to levy you so hard. You're going to end up on a sex offender list. You're going to be a diddler. You're not going to be able to get into school. You're not going to be able to get a job."
No.
Like, nose to nose, screaming with Matt. And Matt's to the point where he looks like he wants to cry. And, the cop pulls away. And I look over at Matt and I was like, "Man, he got his car really close to you." And Matt goes, "Jordan, shut the fuck up." It was so good. His girlfriend was pissed the entire night. He got the cold shoulder the entire night. It was so funny.
That's crazy. I mean, but that's a little extreme for this guy to yell at him like that, though.
Well, you don't know Quincy cops,
Yeah,
man.
it's
Quincy cops have like a reputation for being
heavy-handed.
not Boston cops.
Yeah.
So they're very angry about that, and they try to take it out on everyone.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment in my adolescence with Matt, because literally watching him make up 6 different stories, but still coming back to the fact that he was an adolescent doing stupid teenage things was probably my favorite.
All right.
Yeah, he did some crazy shit. Back in the day.
He
still does crazy
Yeah, no,
shit.
he really does. There was, the problem with Matt is you never know what he's going to do. So there was.
That's because Matt doesn't ever really know what he's going to
It's
do.
an air of
There's
unpredictability.
there's one instance in particular where we were sitting with a friend of ours. We were like, "Oh, let's go grab some food." So we walked up to KFC. And as we're walking back to our friend's house, Matt comes out of nowhere with a full drink, throws it at the window of a business, and starts running away. So me and my fat friends,
that's a
the
respectful
two of
move.
us are just these 2 big, heavy-set, overweight guys. Like, we're lumbering down the road as Matt's like screaming, laughing because he played soccer in high school, so he's got fucking guns. He's running, and we're like, Matt, you can't fucking just do shit like that without giving us a heads up first. But there was also one time he lives by a church, or he used to, and there's one time that he started screaming at a nun. Just saw her walk in, so he just started screaming at her. Turns out it was his next door neighbor. And
a nun?
Yeah.
Was his next door neighbor?
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of nuns, so like he didn't recognize this woman and be like, I wonder if she lives next door.
I mean, let's be honest. Matt
that
didn't think about it. Matt didn't think about it. So he's screaming at a nun, and finally I look up as I'm walking with Matt and our friend John, and I go, "Hey Matt, don't you live at blank blank Glover Ave?" And he looks at me like white as a ghost. He goes, "Fuck you, Jordan," and he runs away.
So
Screams at a nun.
Really, it's just your stories are not necessarily just about the law, but it's about torturing Matt.
Oh well, my
that's
one
kinda
story was about the law. The rest of it was Matt's antics and the shit that he gets us into without thinking.
I mean, I had a friend whose dad was a state trooper in Quincy, and we were fucking idiots, and so we went to Sears and we bought ski masks.
Oh, I remember this because I was with you guys.
And so we let my friend Dave out about a block away from this Wendy's. And I don't really know what inspired us to do this, but so Dave walked up to the Wendy's and was just kind of like looking in the big window. And then me and my friend Colin pulled up with our ski masks on. And we ran out of the car and we tackled Dave to the ground. And then we picked him up and carried him to my friend Colin's car and threw him in it. And then we sped out of the parking lot and drove away. And this whole time, like, we think it's fucking hilarious what we've just done. So a couple of days later, our friend comes up to us.
It is.
It really was. I mean, I can't stop laughing about it even now.
You staged a kidnapping.
I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to this because I can already, I could picture this happening. I could see it being hilarious, but I can also see where this is going.
Mind you,
hold on. So hold on.
Sarge at this point is only like 19.
Okay.
And so
No, I was younger than that. I was only 17.
Oh, so
because we were still in high
even
school.
worse. I'm 12 years old in the backseat of the car, like laughing my ass off as this is happening.
I forgot we brought
Yes, yeah, no, because we also drove down that super bumpy road by the old Quincy High School, and I got in the trunk of the car for that.
Anyway, long story short, we run into our friend a couple days later, and he's like, guys, were you at the Wendy's on Newport Ave a couple nights ago? We were like, oh yeah, and then we told him the whole story. And he's like, yeah, so somebody got your license plate and called it in. And thankfully, my dad was on duty.
Oh no!
Worst nightmare.
So he knew it was you guys, but long story short, we can't hang out for a little while. Oh man!
All right,
we're so fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's
These are
very
things
funny.
that you could do in like 1999 and not get arrested. Nowadays I would have had a record.
Oh man, you could fart in the wrong direction, Sarge.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I've
There'd
done
be
that before.
there'd be 100 videos of it on YouTube.
Yeah. Anyway,
all right, so I think it's time
we
for a
should probably
listener
get
story.
Yeah.
People commenting on how you're a cuck for getting pulled over.
All right. So this comes to us from a friend of mine and a friend of the show. He asked that we not use his real name, which I don't blame him for.
Hi, Matt. How you doing?
Does it rhyme with Fred?
It rhymes with Kames. Anyway,
But you were allowed to use his Twitter handle, right?
His Twitter handle is @pork_sword_.
Go look him up right now.
Yeah, check him out. He's actually a real funny guy. Fellow former military. And his story is, I'm just going to read it. While working at a military police barracks in Schofield Barracks in Hawaii, we responded to a call of a disheveled woman in one of the housing areas harassing the neighborhood kids. When we arrived, we learned she was a homeless drug addict with no military affiliation and had somehow managed to sneak onto the base. Thank you, contracted security guards. I don't know if you guys know much about military installations, but sometimes they have contractor security, and those people are the most useless people on earth. They literally hire the bottom of the barrel. These people make like $25 an hour, and they don't do shit. So anyway.
Also, they sell cigarettes for cheap, so it makes sense that an addict would make their way in there.
Exactly. So she was wandering around one of the residential neighborhoods when she saw two kids, a brother and a sister, playing basketball. They were young, maybe 7 or 9. And she deboed the ball from the boy and backhanded him in the face. So she literally stole the ball from this military person's child and then slapped the child. So we, of course, arrested her, and as she was sitting in one of the officer's patrol cars with the doors open, the officer was finishing up paperwork before transporting her to the station. The mom of the kids managed to sneak past the officer, climb into the back of the patrol car, and mount Maggie Methhead, and just drop hammer fist on her until the officer was able to pull her off.
Yep, that sounds about appropriate.
So after a meeting of the minds, we decided it would be fucked up to arrest the mom. We made sure Debbie, drug addict, received medical care and then took her to the station to process her. This is the best part. So she was unaware that the mom had beaten her ass, so she kept asking us why her head and face hurt.
You fell, sweetheart.
We kept telling her it was the effects of withdrawal and she should seek help.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, God.
Not inaccurate.
So anyway, yeah, that's our listener submission. If you want to submit a story, just follow the podcast or follow one of us. Send us a quick DM. We'll probably follow you back. And send us a direct message. And, you want to submit an idea for a story for the show, or you want to submit a listener story if we ask for one, just go ahead and hit us up. But, yeah.
I'm reading this guy's tweets that he has here. And there's one that he retweeted, and it says the person in the tweet above this one has an extra wiener in case anyone is hungry.
This kid's real funny. He and I have been talking for a couple of months, and he's just really funny. Good tweets, really funny guy. So
Sarge, you retweet some of these tweets, don't you?
I retweet everything, man.
I know I've seen some of these before from ones that you retweet that I end up liking and laughing hysterically.
Yeah, I mean, these, there's some really good accounts out there that are really, really funny. We've made some good relationships with the show. But this particular guy's a fucking riot. So if you got a chance to follow him at pork_sword_.
Hey, dude, you're listening. I just followed you.
All right, everybody. So that's it for this episode. Like Sarge said, if you have any stories you want to submit, please send them our way. We will literally do an episode around your story. So feel free, please. We did that with Bad Dates. We've done it with this one. So if you guys have any stories you want to submit to the show, again, Twitter, DM us.
I have a story idea. Why do you listeners not like Jordan? Maybe they will. Maybe you can send these. You could DM these to Sarge or the show, and then they'll fire Jordan. And then next week, without Jordan, they'll tell you why. You could share why they hated Jordan.
I know that we have a production meeting after the show tonight, which was weirdly scheduled because I didn't do it. So we'll see what happens, I guess. Maybe you'll hear me next episode. Maybe you won't, but that's it for us. Follow us at Musing Podcast. I'm at Muse Knuckle. For now, Sarge is at Bastard Prophet. Jesse's at the Jesse Miles. Maynard is at Maynard, Matt is at an Eclectic Taste, and John, our special guest for the evening, is at the JC Money. You can catch him on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play, and pretty much anywhere else. Hey, John, is there anything that you want to plug from the GERE Network other than Better Live Than Dead?
You know what? It wouldn't be an episode without one of those, now would it? The JC Money Show, throwing that out as iHeartRadio exclusive. Of course, Get Ready America, whenever the hell we feel like recording, we'll record. The Not Just Football Talk weekly podcast, myself and Brand. I host a lot of podcasts because I like to talk. And but yes, GereNetwork.com is our website, and of course, in the aforementioned places that Jordan mentioned, Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, anywhere, search GERE Network. All our shows will come up too, and you never know who you might hear next on one of our podcasts. Maybe it might be Jordan because he gets fired from here.
It's extremely possible.
Jordan's got a place to land.
No, I mean, I'm terrible. I'm just actually waiting for a better opportunity to show up, so let's count my chickens before they hatch, right? Jesse, you got any shows to plug?
This Thursday, the 1st, I will be at the Comedy Studio.
So the listeners aren't going to hear that because this doesn't launch until next week.
So, June 10th, I will be at Victory Grill in Dedham, Massachusetts. June 11th, I will be at the Brookline Porch Fest. And June 21st, I will be at the Shack Scene Pub in Manchester, New Hampshire. June 29th, I'm at the Comedy Studio in Cambridge. And June 30th, I'm on the show Token at
Is it 'cause
Improv
you're-
Loft.
All right, listen, you dickheads. You guys got to go see
Yep.
Jesse. He's fucking funny as shit.
Says the
He's a
guy
great
who has not
comedian.
seen Jesse perform yet.
No, but I know him. So
Jesse,
I've
does
got
any of your
videos
stuff
on
go on
YouTube.
YouTube
Yes,
or something?
You can search Jesse Miles on YouTube and find me there.
All right,
Hooray.
go see Jesse.
thank you for that. Jesse loves when you go and see him and interrupt his 5 minutes of fame. He loves when you
The goal is to make
Well, it's
sure
not
you show up and make
It's
as
just
big a ruckus as
bring
possible when it's on
signs.
stage.
No,
bring signs and hold
that's
them
not
up.
the
He
point.
loves that. In fact,
Oh, God damn
Jesse
it. God
will
damn it.
also autograph signs for you. And we are working as a show on a surprise for Jesse for one of his upcoming shows. So please stay tuned as we. We are. And please stay tuned.
See you in Dedham, fella.
As we.
Right down the street.
It really is right down the street from you guys.
Maybe me and Maynard will make a field trip.
And maybe.
I'm gonna have to
Maybe-
start lying on my plugs.
Maybe there'll be
Doesn't make no sense.
another special guest that makes a trip to the show too. We'll see. See how that works out. Anyway, thank you all for joining us on this episode, and you can catch us in 2 weeks on Monday.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. We're sorry.
Bye.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? Or what you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, or what you gonna do? Or what you gonna do when they come for you? You chuck it on that one, you chuck it on this one, you chuck it on your mother and you chuck it on your father, you chuck it on your brother and you chuck it on your sister, you chuck it on